Hey, well, I managed to finally track both of them down. Rocksteady was a little bit trickier, but now we have the new Mutatin Bebop and Rocksteady turtles. I believe these are an exclusive to Target, just like the other Mutatin turtles were, but there's no label this time. The making of a ninja label that we saw in the corner on the boxes of the other turtles. So it's unclear if these are going to be a wider release, or maybe they're just exclusive to Target for now. But this is the only place I've seen them that you could grab, and they're tricky. Whether I haven't seen them on shelves, I just got them off Target's website, so you have to keep looking for them that way. But let's get right into it. Excited about these two. These were my favorite two growing up. They have a lot more going on with them than the turtles do, and they have two different play modes. I mean, the other one's just turned into a turtle. I didn't have a lot of fun playing with a little baby turtle, but these were both the human and the mutated form of these characters. So if you look at the boxes, they did take off that label is not there this time. So it looks a lot closer to the original box. They just kind of moved around where some of the graphics were on the front, but it's still got that same fun callouts on the back there. But you can see what I mean here in the side-by-side with the original box, that look is very close. I don't believe this is here. This arrow's moved over, but it's very similar, which is kind of what they did with the other boxes on the Mutatin line as well. Same with Rocksteady. You get that great artwork of him transforming. So they kept that really close to the original. I'm sure they just picked the image off of the original box and put it here. On the back, you can see the line. That's only limited to what is out right now, and it's the 4 turtles and Bebop and Rocksteady. Of course, we got that Splinter was another one from the original line. Here's the other box. There was also a Foot Soldier, there was Shredder, there was April, but that was much further along in the lines, and not as many people got those at that point. But these were kind of more mainstream earlier on in the Mutatin line with the turtles. And there's just so much going on with them. It's so cool. But as the other ones go too, they also have the flaps. So you can kind of pick them up here and see the insides of these great characters with that little window box, so you know what you're getting. But that is basically all on the packaging, which is awesome in itself. And you definitely want to keep this packaging. You could pop out both sides and fold it flat, and it won't take up a whole lot of space, because these boxes are pretty cool just to see this old artwork again. So why don't we hop in and check these guys out. Got my turtle smashing crew here, so I'm going to start with Bebop first. And like I said, it's just the pieces of tape on both ends of the boxes there. Usually when you have this, I don't want to pull too hard because it'll tear the box. So what I do is I sneak a pen or something in here. There we go. And it gets this little tricky edge out without tearing the cardboard. So here we go. I'm going to pull him out. And he's going to have a little sleeve that he's going to be in here. And you can see Bebop right here with all his little accessories. The little shoe pieces that go in here, and then his camera drill gun, which I always thought was kind of weird that he had a camera to begin with. And then that retro mutagen ooze. Every one of the mutating characters came with this. It was just sort of like what initiated their mutating. And it's just a green transparent little container. It's like the version of the gray one they had. It's just clear. Again, he should be held in by just this one little strap there, which should be easy enough for you to cut with some sprue cutters, and then you can get him out. And he is a beast of a character, but a ton of fun. Oh, he is held in by 2 additional transparent straps around his leg. So this one tricked me. I got one here. Always look out for these things in the package. There we go. Now we got our Bebop. So I want to get his accessories out. I don't see no strap holding the accessory. The accessory transformation, really easy. You just kind of rotate that handle. So now it's in camera mode. And then it rotates to his drill gun. So he was big on drills. I don't really get that, but that's his thing. So then we have the little shoe parts here. And I believe they go on the right and left respectively. So this one will go on the right shoe. And it should just snap it. I think on the original figure, I want to say that these were already installed, so you didn't have to do anything. This one, it seems like you have to just kind of angle them in there to get them in place. And then they should just retract in after you do that. Kind of an odd choice there. And then same with this one here. So that is basically it. So these would be out in his mutated form, which I don't really understand because you don't see them in the show or anything like that. But it's just a fun little extra thing. So then this would be Bebop fully transformed into his mutated mode with his weapon as the drill gun. So this is a fully finished Bebop, and then we're going to take it in reverse here and check him out in his human mode in just a moment. But I just want to appreciate how awesome this figure looks, completed here in his mutated form. He's even got those turtle shoulder pads that he wears all the time. You can see his necklace on there. He's got his leg brace on there. I mean, everything is on this character. So a lot of detail. And this is pretty much an exact mold of the original. So, I mean, pretty cool for, I don't know, was this 80, 89? I can't remember when the original release on these was. But yeah, it was a while ago. And it's, or actually it might have been closer to like 92 or 93 or something like that. All right, so we're going to take him back. So we'll start with his camera gun and turn that into just a camera. We're going to fold up the shoe hidden weapons there, and then we're going to start with the wrists. So with the wrists, I believe you just separate them. You pull up, you turn, and you push down, and then that is the hand there. Same with this one here. This one, the other reason I like these guys over the other ones is they're a lot easier to mutate than the turtles, who have those extra soft pieces you kind of have to play around with, and that tail and whatnot. He does have a tail, and I forgot to show you. I didn't take it out, but it's right here. So you have that tail. I think this does it rotate? I want to say it rotates too. Yeah. So you want to rotate that up when you have him in his transformation mode, and then you rotate it down, and then you tuck it between his legs. So he does have a tail. But his tail is not soft like the turtle's tail, or maybe that wasn't soft. I'm not recalling very well. So you want to turn these shoulder pads up, and then you want to push him down here, and then that is you tuck his head in here, and then you get the front on, and then the back on, and that's essentially it. I mean, that was really quick, really easy, and that's what it should be to get mutating characters done. The turtles have a lot more steps. They have those extra legs you have to move and maneuver around. They have the extra the side panels you have to maneuver in the right fashion. So yeah, turtles are a lot more complex than the human characters. So there we have his camera. It's just a camera now. I don't remember him being cameraman, but that's it. Then we have his little brass knuckles and his tough guy look. I mean, this is just awesome. Kind of love this one. Both of these characters were a lot of fun to take into their mutating form, and then you have them playable as a human tough guy, and then you have him playable as the mutant enforcer. So very, very cool. So he is definitely an awesome character. All right, now we're going to move on to Rocksteady. All right, well, before I start the segment, just wanted to point out the instructions for Mutatin Bebop are in the box. I did not need them, but if you do, they are there. They will tell you how to go over the weapon, and they will tell you how to go over the character. All those are right here in the box. So if you need those, keep those. Same with the ones for Mutatin Rocksteady. I just popped them out of here as well, so they will also be in the box. So we're going to pop him out of the side, and there is our Mutatin Rocksteady. Again, these accessories, I don't recall them being separate. I thought they were attached. I'll double check that. But yeah, they are here for you to attach. I love this accessory where the lunchbox turns into a gun. It's just really cool. So that is the Rocksteady there. And of course, again, we have him secured here. And I'm willing to bet he's secured at the feet. We'll deal with that when we get to it. Again, he has this retro mutagen canister here. And this is basically just to help him mutate. All the mutating characters had this, as I recall, and it's fun. It's that transparent green ooze throwback there. We have that lunchbox, and you can see where it has a place for the thermos on the side here, and then that just comes out and goes in this way. And then you have that the strap on the thermos turns into like a scope, or it's supposed to be a scope. This is a little tricky to get in, and I recall it was a little tricky to get in back then too. You have to kind of maneuver it, but once you get it in, it's pretty secure. And then you just push down on the handle, and then the grips come out with the trigger there. So that is your mutated lunchbox that turns into his gun. Rocksteady always had the gun. Bebop had that weird drill thing. It was kind of, I never understood that. But Rocksteady had this more militant look to him, and Bebop just had kind of this punk look to him. So maybe it makes sense. Oh, he is secured differently than Bebop, so he also has straps on his arm. So you're going to have to maneuver those out as well. On both arms. Wow, they really don't want you getting this guy out, do they? So once you get all those with your screw cutters, then you should be able to take him out of here in the toughest fashion possible. All right, so we have our Rocksteady. Pretty cool looking figure. I'm a huge fan of this one. I just think he's more fun. He's got a lot more going on with him. Let's get that tail out this time beforehand. So he has that tail too. Take that out, rotate it up, and you get that tail. A little more detail on this tail than the other tail. So he also has those accessories here that we want to get in. I believe this one goes on his left leg and the other one goes on his right leg. So the leg should pop out and the grenade should go in here. And these are just gonna kind of pop onto this little metal bit that's right there. So you should just be able to kind of, there we go, install them like that. And then when you put the leg back in, you gotta lift that little turtle flap. You gotta kind of have to put it around, there we go. And then that should just sit there on the front of the leg. This thing it's kind of weird because they get in the way. It's a little annoying, but this is how the figure was. Same with this little spike ball. You just kind of put it right here. So then you close it, and he's got his little spike ball sticking out. And you have to put that green turtle shell back on the hip somewhere, maybe toward the front. And that way it doesn't interact with the item on his leg. So it can get a little tricky in the maneuvering here. But you could figure it out. There we go. Something like that. It's going to look a little pinched, but it wasn't as perfect. And then you can get the gun in his hand, and then you have your fully mutated version of Rocksteady. So not as smooth as Bebop, but I think cooler when you look at it. So once you get that going, like he's a nice version of the character here. So yeah, I mean, a lot of detail on him again. He's got those goggles, he's got that mean look. Still has a rotating head. He's got some wrap going on his hand there. And then of course those camo pants. So that is our mutated version of Rocksteady. Let's get him back to his human form. So you're just gonna take this out. These are gonna push up. You get them nice and snug to get that handle out for the top there. Just twist and pull on that part there with a thermos and then get that back in the holster. And then he's got that lunch ready to go on his little job there. We'll start with the hands. These are easy. You just kind of separate the part here and then you lift up a little bit before you start trying to turn. It'll make your life a whole lot easier. So you just kind of maneuver it back and forth. This one is giving me a little bit of grief. Maybe it's in there too tight. Yeah, this one was a little too tight. The Bebop one that moved. This one, I feel like they overscrewed it. So I'll have to work on that one in a minute. Let's see if this one's the same. This one, nope, this one maneuvers fine. So that one maneuvers nice and easy. This one should be doing that, but I think it's over tightened. I'll see here. Yeah, I'll have to get this one in the in between shots because it's not maneuvering. I might have to go in there with a screwdriver and adjust it. So this one is, individual results may vary. So I'll get that one in a second. And then you're just gonna lift the leg up, tuck the spike ball in, close it, lift the leg up here, tuck the grenade in. Let's see here. Yeah, you want to work your finger into the panel, tuck the grenade in, and then close it. And that should hide that accessory well. The tail, we're going to turn. I'm going to maneuver that down and then tuck it between his legs. And then the body, we're just going to slide our finger in here and then pull this out. Now this one's going to be a little bit trickier than the Bebop one, just because you're going to have to work in these shells. So I suggest putting the head in first, and then turning the shell, just pushing the shell up in between. There's a little space you'll see right here where the shells can fit in, because dudes just don't walk around with shells on their hip. So you can get that in there, and it should tuck all the way in. And then you want to make sure you have that head centered in there so it doesn't move up and down. So then you have him back in his standard form here, holding his lunch, going off to his job, minus this rhino hand because I can't seem to get this maneuvered out. I might just have to, yeah, this one is really stuck in there, so I'm going to have to get a little screwdriver and adjust it just so I can be able to maneuver this hand around, but that hopefully doesn't happen to you. But that is essentially his mutated form, or his human form, back to normal. He still has those pegs on the bottom of his shoes, but nothing in his feet there like Bebop does. But yeah, I mean, even in human form, he looks pretty cool. He's got his little foot insignia on there. I don't know if there's one of, no, there's not one in Bebop. But here these two dudes are ready to go be bad dudes before they're transformed. So yeah, awesome set of characters. You definitely need both of them, and they both look amazing. And just transformed just like I recall back with the original versions. So that is your Mutatin Bebop and Rocksteady. And here we go. I got both my guys mutated now. Just needed the slightest turn of a screwdriver to loosen that screw in order to enable the hand to come up and rotate. The machine must have just over-tightened it during assembly, so individual results may vary. You might get a version that is perfectly fine. These guys are exactly as I remember them, flaws and all, which is awesome because they're probably just the same model, same mold, same everything. It still has that awkwardness of putting the shells around those accessories. I remember that back in the day, and it's here now. You can even see it on the box. Same with the Bebop. He has those weird little things underneath his feet. Easiest character to mutate, and I love that. So you can go back and forth between his human and his mutated form, and a little bit more difficult, but not too bad. Way easier than the Turtles. At the end of the day, these are Target exclusives, so you should only be able to get them at Target. They don't have that indication on them this time, but I'm fairly confident in that because I haven't seen them anywhere else. They are sold out right now online. They should be hitting shelves if they're following suit with the original Turtles. You recall Leo and Raph hit shelves, and it took a while, but then Mikey and Donnie came out. The only way I ever got them was through the website, but eventually I did see them hitting shelves. So this is kind of where they are right now. They're only distributed through the website. And I know the way Target works, it's kind of like the warehouses get them first before the stores sometimes. So you'll be able to order a limited amount, and then they just start flooding into the stores. So at this point, we're in that early phase, so they should be hitting shelves soon. But I'm going to do you guys one better. I'm going to give you the link to both of these guys online, so that way you keep watching the website to see when they just pop back into stock. That's how I got Rocksteady. I just kept watching the link. The problem is if you set up like an alert, by the time you get that alert, it's going to be sold out. People buy it almost immediately, or they're doing the same thing where they're watching the link. So Target does not instantaneously send you the alerts that your product is back in stock. It could be hours later sometimes, and it will be gone by then. So you just have to kind of keep checking. So I'll have the link for both of these guys. You could just save those, bookmark those pages, and keep checking. And that's how you'll be able to grab them, or you could just see them on the shelves. I would guess around the spring they will be hitting the shelves. I know, let's talk future Playmates news. I just spoke with Playmates, and they have told me that Casey Jones and the Rat King are launching soon. They don't have a date, but my guess is spring because we talked about spring releases. There should be another wave of the Mutant Mayhem figures hitting around April as well, including that single cardback version of April from Mutant Mayhem. So I anticipate around March, April that we'll start seeing other classics figures hitting shelves, maybe these guys as well. If we don't see them in the next month or so. I mean, they're on the website now, but they should be hitting shelves around then. Pretty awesome. A great addition to your collection of Mutatin Turtles, or just fun. Like I said, I like these over the other ones because they're useful in both form. I mean, playing with a baby turtle, great and all, but these are human versions of the characters that could still act as action figures, and then they turn into their mutated versions as well. So definitely awesome. We'll see if they keep rounding out the line and give us Splinter and give us the April that turned into a cat, and the Foot Soldier, and Shredder, and keep going. But these were kind of the core ones. I remember the Turtles and Splinter, before the line started getting crazy and started adding cavemen and all sorts of weird things toward the end of the line. But yeah, these were kind of awesome, and they still are, so definitely worth your time to pick up. So that is all for this time. Like I said, we get a lot more coming up. I'm definitely going to be getting back to Ghostbusters. I have a lot I want to show you, including the new Fright Features figures that are at Target, which is a great nostalgic throwback. And we're going to be looking at the latest release on equipment, including that new Max wand that came out. I just finished that build, so I will show you guys that as well. We're going to have other products as well. I don't want to give any spoilers, but as you've been seeing, there's a lot of new releases hitting right now. It's just that time we're getting into winter, spring, when a lot of stuff is coming out that we got to see teased last year. So we'll be bringing that to you as we get that as well. So we're a little backed up, but we'll definitely be showing you things on a regular basis. So keep tuning back for that, and keep checking back for more surprises. And as always, like, subscribe, and follow. We got something new on the site every day as well. So be sure to check out our website, cooltoyreview.com, to see what's going on there when we post toy news, not just reviews. So we try to keep up with what's going on. So that's all for this time. We will see you guys next time.